Today, we're diving deep into the official pitch for a crypto project called Miracle World. It's all built around this idea they call burn to earn, and it comes with a pretty huge promise of unstoppable growth. So we're going to break down their own documents slide by slide and see exactly how they're pitching this whole thing.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. We're going to follow their pitch through 5 main parts. First, we'll get the big idea behind Miracle World. Then, we'll get into the real nuts and bolts of their growth engine. After that, we'll take a look at the Miracle coin itself, see how they stack it up against Bitcoin, and finally, we'll break down the business plan for anyone thinking of getting involved.
All right, first things first. What is Miracle World anyway? Let's start with how they define the project in their own words.
So they position Miracle World as this community-powered ecosystem. They make a big deal about it being governed by a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. In theory, that means the community votes on things, not some company calling the shots. They say smart contracts handle everything automatically to keep it all transparent, and that the mission is all about creating wealth through, and these are their words, digital scarcity and sustainable rewards.
Okay, so that's the 30,000-foot view. Now for the real heart of their pitch. The growth engine. This is the secret sauce. The mechanism they claim literally creates value. Let's see how they say it works.
And you know, their own document puts the key question right out there. How is the price supposed to go up? Well, they've got a 2-part answer for that, and we're going to break it down right now. Okay, so part 1 of their engine is all about adding liquidity. They use a super simple example. Imagine you have 10 coins and a pot of $100. Easy math, right? Each coin is worth $10. Now, let's say someone adds another $20 to that pot. The total is now $120. You still have 10 coins, so now each one is worth $12. The conclusion they want you to draw is simple. More cash coming in equals a higher price.
Now for the second part of the engine, the burn. Using those same starting numbers, 10 coins, $100, they show what happens if you just destroy 2 of the coins. Poof, they're gone forever. Now you only have 8 coins left, but that same $100 pool is still there. Well, now each coin is worth $12.50. So the logic here is just as straightforward: less supply, higher price.
And this is where they bring it all together. They call it the double effect. It's basically doing both things at the same time, adding new money and burning coins to create what they claim is this accelerated growth. Their example shows how adding $20 and burning 2 coins at the same time takes that original $10 coin and turns it into a $15 coin. It's like hitting the gas and a turbo boost at once.
And this slide, in their own words, just sums up the entire promise. Liquidity rising plus supply falling equals double growth power. That's the secret behind Miracle Coin's unstoppable growth engine. I mean, it doesn't get much clearer than that. This is the foundational claim for their whole model. Unstoppable. That's a big word.
So we've seen the engine, but what about the fuel? Well, that brings us to the asset at the center of all this, the Miracle Coin, or MRC.
And there it is. According to the pitch, this is the Miracle coin. It's the digital token at the very heart of the system. It's what you're supposed to buy, hold, and, well, earn rewards with. All right, let's look under the hood. It's an MRC token on the Binance Smart Chain. But check this out, the total supply is 21 million. Now, if that number rings a bell, it should. It is the exact same total supply as Bitcoin. And trust me, that is a very deliberate choice. They call its mechanism burn to earn, and its whole purpose is to drive value by creating scarcity.
Now, their token allocation forecast is really interesting. Look at that massive slice of the pie. A forecasted 88% is set aside for the community staking pool. Meanwhile, only a tiny 0.5% is reserved for the project's creators. The message they're trying to send here is crystal clear. This project is for the people, not for the founders to get rich.
And even for that teeny tiny creator slice, they have a vesting rule. The tokens are locked up for 17 months, and after that, they're released incredibly slowly. This is a pretty common tactic in crypto projects, right? It's presented as a way to build trust by showing that the founders can't just dump all their tokens on the market and cash out. This all leads us straight into their marketing strategy. A huge part of the Miracle World pitch involves positioning MRC right next to the biggest name in crypto, Bitcoin. They don't just mention Bitcoin in passing, they literally frame their entire project in relation to it. It's a clever strategy, right? You're trying to borrow credibility from something that's already huge and established, while at the same time claiming you're the new, improved version. And this quote from their pitch deck just perfectly captures that angle. Inspired by Bitcoin, advanced with burns.
It's so concise. It tells a whole story in just 5 words. We took a concept you already know and trust, and we made it better with our special twist. This comparison table, taken straight from their materials, lays out their whole argument. They start by drawing that direct line on supply. Then they pivot, contrasting Bitcoin's slow halving events with MRSC's constant, ongoing burns. They pitch their DAO governance and verifiable dashboards as clear upgrades, and then they land the final punch. Entry price. The message is simple. Bitcoin is expensive, but MRSC is your affordable ground floor opportunity.
Okay, so we've covered the what, the how, and the why. Now for the final piece of the puzzle, the business plan. This part details how people can actually join the Miracle World ecosystem and what the rules of the game are.
The pitch makes a very direct appeal to get people in the door, especially early on. It dangles incentives like a bonus pool with up to 50% extra MRC. It constantly reminds you about those daily burns, shrinking the supply, and frames scarcity as the key to future value. And it all builds up to this one huge claim. Small entry today equals life-changing future wealth.
So here's where we see the reward structure, and it's a tiered system based on the cumulative volume brought in by a user's team. This structure, where your rewards depend on the financial activity of people you recruit, has a lot in common with multi-level marketing models. You can see the ranks scale from visionary all the way up to crown legend, which requires a team volume of $500 million.
And finally, the pitch lays out 3 key rules. The 5x cap limits how much you can earn to 5 times your initial package value. The 40% leg cap is a rule that essentially forces you to build a wide network instead of just relying on one successful recruit. And lastly, the plan is cumulative, which means your sales volume never resets, always encouraging you to keep pushing for that next rank.
So after walking through their whole pitch, we can connect the dots. The growth engine needs 2 things to work: burning supply and, more importantly, adding new liquidity. The business plan seems designed specifically to bring in that new liquidity through a team-based reward structure. So the entire system relies on a constant flow of new money from new people to work the way it's described. Which leaves us with one final crucial question. What fuels the fire, and what happens when the fuel runs out?